Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. What if the path to freedom and to fulfillment and to success wasn't about grinding harder, but actually thinking better? Well, in today's episode, I want to explore 8 foundational ideas from Naval Ravikant, who I believe is one of today's greatest thought leaders. I think these 8 foundational ideas will change how you build your businesses, how you build your teams, and I think ultimately impact how you build a life, right? A life that actually works for you. So let's run through my favorite 8 principles from Naval that I think every entrepreneur should live by. There's more than 8 he's got out there, by the way, but these are the 8 foundational ideas that I've most anchored to. The first one, play long-term games with long-term people. In entrepreneurship, I think most people chase quick wins. It's a quick sale, or maybe it's a viral post, or it's some sort of short-term partnership. But I think Naval does a great job reminding us that all compounding comes from consistency. And when you align yourself with people of integrity and shared values, the rewards multiply, not just financially, but relationally, reputationally, and creatively. So build business with people you trust and you admire, and avoid opportunistic deals with people who cut corners because they never last. Your reputation is your long-term leverage, so treat it like equity. Number 2, productize yourself. Another great foundational principle from Naval. Productize yourself. What it means, trading time for money as a ceiling. Entrepreneurs, I think, have to turn their unique knowledge, their experiences, their perspectives into scalable products and content or systems. Your personality, your story, your thinking style, it's a brand. So leverage it. At least that's what Naval would teach us. So package your expertise. Package it into a course or a book or a podcast or a newsletter or software, but package that expertise and then use automation and systems to separate your income from your calendar. What I want you to think about, what Naval would encourage you to think about, is what do you know that no one else can teach like you? To be very, very transparent with our audience today, this is, this productize yourself concept is a lot of what drove me to want to create this No Days Off podcast. Trying to turn, whatever unique knowledge or experience, I had into something that was more scalable that I could deliver and leverage. So I was trying to package that into this podcast. And 500 or so episodes later, I think we've accomplished some of that. Number 3, learn to build and learn to sell. Learn to build and learn to sell. I love this one so much that it's actually on the back of one of our Metrix t-shirts for the Mastermind. I think to build a successful business, you need 2 capabilities. Create value, which is building, and capture value, which is selling. Naval says if you can do both, then you're unstoppable. So if you're a builder, say an operator or a strategist or a coder, start learning storytelling and persuasion. And if you're a salesperson or a marketer, learn the basics of product design, tech, or fulfillment. Founders who are only one-dimensional eventually stall out. So you've got to learn to build and you got to learn to sell. Number 4, if I had one that's my favorite, it might be this one. Specific knowledge is greater than general knowledge. Specific knowledge is greater than general knowledge. Specific knowledge is hard to teach. It's hard to automate. It often looks like play to you, but work to others. It's the intersection of your natural talents with your deep curiosity and your experience, your lived experience. So double down on what energizes you and feels effortless, but creates results. And stop chasing trendy skills. Build on what I would call kind of your weird strengths. Let your personal story shape your business model and your strategy. Specific knowledge is greater than general knowledge. Number 5, leverage is the key to wealth. Naval shares this. Lots of people have shared this, but Naval said leverage is the key to wealth. Naval really identifies 3 types of leverage. There's labor, which is other people's time. There's capital, which is other people's money. And then there's code and media, which is scale without permission. That last category, code and content and media, it's especially powerful in today's world because you can actually create once and then you can scale it infinitely. Now, what is he really saying here in terms of the application? You got to create repeatable systems and operating procedures so others can execute without you. You've got to invest in media, which is social and video and email and podcasts to create leverage that works while you sleep. And then lastly, you got to use tech tools or software to replace yourself in the day-to-day. Leverage is the key to wealth. Number 6, escape the status game. The status game, according to Naval, is zero sum. One person goes up only if another one goes down. It's about chasing awards or clout and ego-driven metrics, but the wealth game is a positive sum. It's about creating value that benefits everyone. So don't waste time posturing on social media and impress your peers. Escape the status game. Focus on helping customers, solving real problems, and serving generously, and then run your business based on principles, not on comparisons. Escape the status game. Number 7, happiness is a skill. See, Naval believes that happiness isn't something you earn. It's something you train. Like for entrepreneurs, this is, I think, pretty crucial because we're often chasing a someday when we'll finally relax. But the stress never ends unless we change internally. So you have to practice presence. Naval would teach you practice presence. Find joy in solving today's problem. Not necessarily in crossing a finish line, but in solving today's problem. Naval would encourage us to meditate and walk and unplug regularly. Protect your mind, just like you protect your money, your capital. And don't wait until the exit to feel peace. You got to build it into your daily systems. And then the last foundational principle from Naval, number 8 for us here today, is read, think, and tinker. Naval would say most people are too busy. They're too busy to step back. They're too busy doing the step back and actually see more clearly. So Naval reads, he reflects, he experiments constantly, not to check a box, but to grow awareness and to grow insight. That's how you ultimately make smarter decisions. So block time for your thinking and your reading and your journaling, not just for meetings and for doing. And then more specifically, curate your information diet. Read fewer news updates and read more timeless ideas. Try new tools, try new strategies, new angles. Even if they don't scale right away, Naval would teach that insight is born in tinkering. So Naval's brilliance, and again, I'm a huge fan of Naval Ravikant. If you haven't looked him up before, go pick up the Almanac of Naval. It's awesome. Naval's brilliance, though, it's not in complexity. It's actually in clarity. I think these 8 principles, they're not hacks. They're not hacks. They're operating systems, in my opinion. They're operating systems for business, for entrepreneurship, for life. I think you go through this and you pick one. I would challenge you, pick one of these principles today and apply it deeply for a month. Just take one and apply it deeply for a month. Then come back for the next. The greatest founders aren't chasing the loudest noise. They're building quiet engines of freedom, leverage, and love for the work itself. I think there's a lot to take away from Naval. Again, these are just the 8 that I lean into. There are so many more. Look them up if you're unfamiliar. But again, pick out one of these principles, apply it deeply for a month, and then come back to it. I challenge you to do it. That's all I have for you today, the No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.